agree. It's a bit of a race against the clock to do this in under 10 minutes. That lead slide, the background in that photo is actually gold nuggets recovered from our bulk sample in 2012 at our Placer project in the Cariboo in British Columbia. So I'm going to flip through this pretty darn quick. You've read these. It's in our written material if you want to go through it. Unlike Brian's company, we're only in one area, in the Cariboo in British Columbia, right in the center of British Columbia. Our nearest neighbor, contiguous neighbor, is Osisko Gold Royalties, and those guys got big in a hurry. They've got the Barkerville project where they've already drilled off, I think, in excess of 4 million high-grade ounces. The complex they're working on has already produced 1.2 million ounces. These things repeat in that area. We figured we had to get pretty big pretty quick or we were going to get muscled out. So we've got 400 square kilometers in blue there. They've got over 2,000 square kilometers. These are massive areas, lots of gold. It's the heart of the Cariboo. It's the richest placer gold field in Canadian history, actually. This just zooms into Shore property. We've got a placer project that leads to the hard rock exploration. So that stuff on the front page, that nugget gold, we believe we know where that came from, at least locally in our existing project. So in 2012, we did a bulk sample into a historic paleo channel, which is just an old river channel with gold at the bottom of it. It's 50 meters beneath Lightning Creek. The first area of interest is 300 meters. We've actually got 15 kilometers of this potential paleo channel. 1.5 kilometers of which has had a historical resource calculated on it back in 1986. So non-compliant now, but it was compliant at the time, and we've been operating based on that information. That red area is the crosscut we did in 2012. When we finished that crosscut, we were so pleased with the results that immediately the price of gold went down $600 in Canadian terms. So we were a little bit disgruntled by that outcome in that we had what we wanted and the market didn't really come around with us until now. So in that crosscut, to put this in perspective, it was a 2.5 meter, well, 2.4 meters by 2.4 meters across about 24.5 meters. So 8 foot by 8 foot going 80 feet. Every meter of advancement in that crosscut, we averaged 7 ounces of gold. It's really that rich. And in the center part of that paleo channel, we were getting up to 20 ounces per meter of advance in that. So it's incredibly rich. It's all on the old ancient creek bed. And as I said earlier, this all leads to us thinking we know where that came from. So there's a cross-section of the actual mining, the bulk sample mine, dewater it, go down. There's Lightning Creek above it. The only reason this hasn't been mined is because it's technically challenging to do so because it's wet most of the time under the creek. The two other water bodies are settling ponds from the mining operations. We simply go down and go in, and we wanted to get a bulk sample to really prove up what historic drilling had said, so we did so. And you can, the way we did that, there's a view of Lightning Creek as it is today. That's about 1 kilometer of creek. You can see our settling ponds in there in the upper middle of that first picture, the slice of our mining project. And how we developed this project to bulk sample it was by freezing that crosscut. So we drilled 15 holes, put freeze pipe in, froze it so that we could stabilize the ground to see what's there. And that process is really no different than the many thousand artificial ice hockey rinks and curling rinks in Canada. You simply put a pipe in, run some brine solution through it, freeze it, away you go. We determined based on that bulk sample, and the round slide beneath that is the underground processing. We simply wash the gravels that we excavate underground, liberate the gold, take the concentrate up to the assay lab, and that's our guys actually recovering gold in the assay lab above ground during the bulk sample. We learned a lot from that. One thing, we don't need to freeze much, if any, of this deposit to mine it, because modern grouting techniques and the way our miners want to attack this, we can probably do it a lot cheaper than we thought we first could, but I'll get to that in a minute. There's 2.4 kilometers of the paleo channel. So in yellow is where the prospective gold is in the old river channel from 50 million years ago when it cut into the bedrock. Lightning Creek is the blue on top of that. We've already bulk sampled right in the middle of that. We've got many kilometers of potential pay. Placer's kind of a different animal, but we like doing it because it's you start liberating gold and you're getting paid right away. If you're doing it at less, if you're recovering it for a cost less than the current spot price, that day's price is what you get. The people, I'm going to back up one here for a second. Again, what really struck us, that quote in the top right, is from our 2012 bulk sample 43101 report. We recovered some of, if not the highest recorded grades ever in the Cariboo, and that's the richest placer gold field in Canadian history that started the Cariboo Gold Rush in the 1850s. Again, I have to remind you, this hasn't been recovered because it was technically challenging. mining technology, and the price of gold have caught up to make this a very robust project in our estimation. So we have a partner that's working on what we did in 2012. This is HCC Mining and Demolition is a subsidiary of a 125-year-old company headquartered in our province, Saskatchewan, and we've got a decades-long working experience with the mining operational personnel in that company. So we've got a lot of faith in these guys. They've done a lot of great things with us in the past. We have worked to deal with them that we did all of the heavy lifting, getting the bulk sample done, property acquisition, proving that the gold was really there. Now it's technically possible to mine it. They need to go mine it. And the way we've worked this project with them is they earn 50% of the project by simply coming and start the bulk sample and then start mining. So it's a really neat deal for them. They want to get their hands on the gold. So on the bottom, you can see a line there. The way this works is they come do all of the work for us. They keep half the gold. They give us our half, and they give us a bill for $850 Canadian. So even, moving forward right now, it's an incredibly robust project from our perspective, and they'll be doing that as well. They've rehabilitated the project already, and they'll be starting very shortly and liberating gold from our bulk sample. This is the heart of this talk, though, why we're here. That's gold samples recovered. It's incredibly coarse, a lot of it. And when we looked at it, we said, wow, that looks a lot like, technically it's called autochthonous gold, meaning gold that is adjacent to its source. It hasn't been roughed up by the stream as it's been moved down the paleo channel. It's still rugged. There's quartz inclusions in that one big nugget on the left. We got a lot of that stuff, and we got really excited because of it. And as I said, the price of gold in Canadian dollar terms, as soon as we learned this information, dropped right off the map. But that doesn't change what we think we know. That gold is gold that hasn't been transported far from source. And the reason we staked a whole bunch of ground recently is because we have the same geological setting as our neighbors over at Barkerville. We're on the mirror image opposite side of the the Barkerville terrain in cream colored there. We've got all of the same geological setting. Thrust fault on our side is the Eureka, on their side is the Pleasant Valley. We've got the same rock assemblage, the bedrock. It's phyllite largely with a whole bunch of quartz intrusions in it. Everything is the same, and there's visible gold in quartz all over this area. Ours, theirs, everywhere. And as I said, they've already got about 5 or 6 million ounces defined over in their deposits. This is what got us excited and why we just staked 39,000 hectares. Our project, the Placer project on Lightning Creek, 50 meters beneath Lightning Creek, is the star at the bottom of that. And we've got this massive, it's actually a SkyTem electromagnetic signature that cross-cuts that channel. So the way to visualize that is 50 million years ago, when that river was cutting through the mountainside and digging it like the Grand Canyon, it had to cut through that mineralized structure. And not so coincidentally, right where that star is where we cut into some of the highest grade placer gold in BC history. So I really can't relate how excited we are about the prospects on this thing. We've got everything we need all in the right spot. And there's one lonely drill hole put in there, I think it was in 1989, 88 or 89, yeah, I guess 89. Not even close to the heart of that mineralized structure, and it got 1.5 meters of over a half ounce of gold. So we've got all of the things that need to be in the right place at the right time, and very little exploration over this. So we've got a bunch of placer gold that our partners will start liberating virtually immediately. They probably plan on getting underground, dewatering and getting underground within the month or two here, that can move forward and fund us for all of the exploration we need to do on this project. So it is genuinely exciting, and we couldn't really say more. That's a close-up of liberating gold in our assay lab from the bulk sample. And you see the flakes of gold. That's actual gold in there that we shook out of the concentrate when we were doing the bulk sample. We got 5.4 kilograms of gold. I have to repeat the nature of that crosscut. 124-meter crosscut. Every meter of advance in that crosscut produced on average 7 ounces of gold. The gold is all in the bedrock contact. It's in the bottom, in the hard rock, in the 6 inches of fractures, and then about 6 inches to a foot above that. We believe that we can mine at a 6-foot mining height using continuous mining. We don't believe we have to freeze all of it like we did to bulk sample it. And more importantly, Omineca Mining and Metals doesn't have to put up any money to initiate operations. Our partners have deep pockets, and they're bringing their own capital and equipment and manpower and engineering expertise to start developing that placer resource. That's their job. Our job is to start this season exploring for the hard rock source of all that gold. So we just really couldn't be more excited than we are right now about this project. So thank you very much.